Hello everybody and welcome once again to the Brink, episode 37 of the most Brinkaliciously awesome podcast anywhere in the world, and it is a pleasure to have your company once again. We've got another big Brinkalicious show for you today. We've guests, we've got new guests, we've got fun segments, and of course we have a preview of the Brink Unleashed 7, which is of course coming your way in exactly 1 week's time. Get excited for that, and we generally always open up by just kind of having a bit of a refresher of the week in terms of who's been listening, and a shout out and a cheerio to everybody out there who has listened to us in the last 7 days. And a big special shout out this week has to go to the British places of Salford and of course Manchester. And a big shout out must go out to Terrebonne out in Montreal in Canada. So it seems as though our Canadian arm is helping get some listeners. We obviously have a bit more of Canada to come today, and even Salford and Manchester in the British arm. We're going to be British this episode as well. So maybe there's just a bit of a tease coming out there when it comes to certain parts in the world. So, as always, we say if you are listening and want to say hello, say good day, send a cheerio. We can, of course, always get you on the show because we're always that desperate for guests, apparently. Shoot us a message. We'll be happy to hear from you and to find out a little bit more about Terrebonne, maybe. It's I think it's got a bit of French-Canadian to that. So, yeah, if you're listening, say hello. We'd like to hear from you. Been a very long time since we've spoken to this boy, and it's probably a good thing because, let's be honest, no one's missed him except for apparently the reason why we've got him back on the show. It's Dakoda Leary. Hello, Dakoda. That's the part where you say hello back, or you don't want to talk to me?
I did say hello back.
I didn't hear you. You might want to say it again.
Hello then.
How are you? You good?
I'm pretty good. But apparently sometimes my voice just doesn't
Apparently it doesn't work. Your brain's making your mouth
sound.
move and say stuff, but it just didn't work. So
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Good to see you're alive. That's generally what I should say. I don't think we've had you back since I've been back, have we? It's been like
no, we haven't.
Yeah, I'm wondering why my life felt normal for once, but
yeah, well, it's about to change.
Apparently. So we've got about 10 weeks to catch up on, or something ridiculous like that. What's been going down in Dakota Town?
What's been going down in Dakota Town? Just uni and stuff, I guess.
So uni has officially started then.
Yeah.
Right. So
uni started ages ago, didn't it?
Well, I mean,
we're in week three. In week 3.
Okay. Cool.
3.
Hello, Nick Heidfeld. Didn't realise we had you on the show. Well, I mean, three weeks in. I mean, how are you finding it? Are you enjoying it? Are you hating it? What's going on with it?
I like it, but I don't like it.
You like it, but you don't like it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of I don't know, a banana. Like people like bananas, but they don't love them.
Yeah. Sure.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. That
I don't know.
I
mean, I suppose you could refer to sex or something as a thing that you like.
You're not having it right if that's the case, because generally people like sex. So
yeah, but generally it's not like.
If you're having sex, it's it's okay, but I don't like it. Then you need to have sex better. So
I don't know my thoughts about that.
Back to university. So why do you like it and why do you not like it?
I like the learning aspect of it, but it gets a bit it's what's the word? I don't know. There's just so much that you need to do in the course of 1 week, and it's what? How do you do that?
Right. So you're basically complaining that you have to do things.
Yes.
So you thought you would just rock up, be like, hey everyone, sup, I'm Dakoda, I'm here at uni. Oh, what's that? Oh, a degree, thanks, I'll take that. Okay, thanks, bye.
Surely that's what I was hoping for.
Clearly.
Yeah.
A bit of a shock to your system, realise you've got to work for it, right?
I know, I was like, what? What is this?
You're like, fucking
my whole
hell.
life's a lie.
It really is. Well, so what are you studying? Tell our listeners, I'm sure they want to know if you don't die on us in the meantime there.
I'm doing a Bachelor of Arts.
Right.
Yep.
Don't it. You just, again, you don't want to go into more detail? Or what's your major?
I haven't chosen my major yet. I don't need to decide till next year. So
I thought you're not doing journalism or media, you haven't just officially set yourself on that yet then?
I'm doing a media course, which is text and audiences, but haven't decided whether that's the path I want to do yet.
And what else?
Might
What else?
go,
What are
like,
the other subjects then you're doing as part of this Bachelor of
history
Arts?
and philosophy.
Yep. Okay, so you're only doing 3, or?
The other one's a breadth unit, which you have to do. Cause,
And what's that mean for us dumb bums that, don't know what that is?
It's a course that's compulsory
Mm-hmm.
that you also have to pay for, which is more than your normal courses, because they're like, oh, you can't get a job studying the humanities.
Right. So is this a new thing? Because I never had to do that.
Yeah, it's only recently happened. Like last year.
So a compulsory, like what is it though? What are you learning in this compulsory class?
Like jack shit, really.
So you're learning jack shit. Hi, welcome to compulsory class. It's more expensive. Here we teach you about jack shit. This is Jack. This is a pile of shit. Like, we're going to learn about them for 6 months.
The particular one I'm doing is meant to be on like thinking rationally, but it's just talking about bloody like maths.
So you basically now have to do a maths course at university.
Yep, and pay for it.
So if you wanted to be a journalist,
and it's more than my normal courses.
Right.
Yeah.
So you are needing to learn how to do maths basically if you want to be a journalist. That's pretty logical.
Yep, it's awesome.
Okay, so I thought UTAS had completely fucked me over when I went there about 10 years ago, but it seems like they've slowly gotten worse.
Oh, yeah. Probably. I don't know. I wasn't there when you were there. So.
No, well, I mean, you were like 1, so, that was probably a good thing.
That wasn't like 1, but...
Well, I mean, let's be honest, because neither of us are Asian students who come in with, fat wallets we're not giving a shit about. So that's kind of how UTAS works. Hello, UTAS, if you're listening. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not sponsoring this show. But I mean, look, okay. Outside of the obvious things there, I mean, have you made friends? Have you discovered the social life that is UTAS campus?
No.
No. It's pretty
shit,
isn't it?
I did. I don't like talking to anyone there.
You don't like talking to anyone in general. You're like, why the fuck am I doing this again?
All they can seem to manage to talk about is what they're doing, at uni. That it seems like uni students literally can't think of anything else to talk about other than uni, and it's so boring.
This is where it's like, if we have anybody from America or Canada listening, and they're thinking wow, college is the best. Usually, seriously, college life, university life in Australia compared to what you're used to is fucking shit. All right, I've experienced college life in the US for all of 20 minutes. Being on campus, and then I've been to a sports game, and that just completely erased my memory of what I did for 6 years at university in Australia. So, be thankful that you go to these schools in the States. But, I mean, because this is the thing, I was at UTAS for 6 years. The first year, sure, I kind of had some friends there because, they kind of come over from our college. But, I mean, I quit so many times and came back. By the time that I was completing my degree, I was with 12-year-olds, basically. I didn't know anybody, so... And I don't associate with people.
Pretty much.
Sit in a room and speak in a microphone. That's how I talk to people. So do you think you're going to last, though, Dakoda? You obviously, you sort of took a gap year, kind of. You were sort of late in deciding to come to university. But, I mean, do you feel this is something you're going to stick with, or you might sort of leave and come back to? What are you thinking?
I think if I can, keep up with everything, I would probably stay, so...
Probably being the operative word there.
Yeah.
If I was a betting man, and thanks to our good friends at Bet365, much better than those losers at Sportsbet, I would put on some hefty wagers, if I had some, that you will not make it. And I'm not saying you won't make it in terms of you're very capable of making it, Dakoda, but I don't think I think you will leave before you're finished, but you will return. You'll do a me, basically.
Is that what you reckon?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I don't know what to bet.
Much,
I've got no money.
How much will we bet?
Look, I'll give you
let's bet.
Sure, okay, yep.
If I do my whole degree in just one go and don't leave ever, you have to pay my HEX debt.
No, because I've got my own HEX debt, which has barely been touched.
half my HEX debt?
So does that mean then if you leave that you have to pay mine?
No, I mean, sure, yeah, okay, done.
No, I do not agree to those terms.
Okay.
If you leave before you complete your first term, you have to buy me a dim sim, and if you take your entire term in first go, I'll buy you a dim sim. That's a fair trade.
Right.
It's a bit cheaper than HEX debt.
To go in 4 years' time.
Yeah.
When I get my degree.
Yep.
And I'm asked, Dakoda, What kept you going? What made you stay on that track, on that path to achieve your dreams and everything? And I'll say, well, there was a guarantee that I would definitely get a dim sim. So.
And look, I haven't eaten dim sims in 4 years because this is just going to make it taste so darn good.
I haven't had a single dim sim in 4 years. I can't even remember what they taste like.
I don't even know what it is. And you take a bite. This is shit. But no one's ever said that sentence and they've bitten into a dim sim because they are golden pieces of heaven. So that is essentially what no one has ever uttered. What else is? Anything else is happening?
Not really. No. To be honest, nothing much in my life.
Still 15.
Ever since I started uni, I think so. Yeah. That's what people keep telling me. Cool. That's what you keep telling me.
Well, that's what happens when you get a degree. You become smart.
I seem to be under this false prophecy that I'm 18, but I don't know.
Have you counted the rings around your trunk lately?
I don't know. I haven't really been counting my years, so I'm not really sure.
You'll be 19 soon, will you not? Isn't your birthday in October? November?
November, I think it is.
One of them?
Yeah, I think so.
Shit, that's scary.
Yeah.
Wow, you're nearly like 2 decades old, man. You're fucking old.
Dude. Oh, dude.
Anyway. Actually, that's a question I should ask you. When I was away, the youth conference was on, was it not?
Yes.
That's where you and I met, Dakoda. Good times. I mean, I'd obviously had the pleasure of hosting the last 3. I was sadly out of the country for this one, so I couldn't make it 4 in a row. Just answer me one question. Did people miss me? Was it empty without me, or did Carly do such a good job that I was forgotten?
Do you want me to lie, or do you
I want you to be honest.
All right. Well, I don't think anyone remembered you were there. Weren't there because it was a completely new crop.
Right.
But Tali didn't do very well by herself.
No, wow. Okay then. Hello, Tali, if you're listening. What was wrong with Tali by herself? Was it kind of
wasn't
just wasn't the same?
Yeah, it wasn't as comedic as it would be if both of you were there.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that. I do look funny, so it's
yeah, good.
I just walk into a room and people laugh because they're like, ha ha ha, yes. And then they hear me talk, and then they realise why I'm on radio.
Yes,
that was kind of a weird up myself moment there. I tried to make myself funny, but I kind of gave myself a compliment. Didn't really work that well. Cool. So, I mean, was there anything like extra special this year that I missed, or was it kind of just the same what's been there the last few times?
Yeah, it was generally the same. It didn't really miss too much.
Was the Op Shop ball on again?
No, we had a movie night, and we watched like a documentary. It was stupid.
Sounds like a great movie.
Yeah, it was.
What was the documentary on?
I can't even remember. I think it was on like something in New Guinea where they were like, "Oh, we're gonna take all these people's houses away and build a hotel there instead."
Laugh a minute.
So, fuck you. God,
it sounds like a hoot.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I was out of the country for that. All right, everybody should go to it in 2019 because it's a great thing and yay, all that sort of stuff. How's watching Formula One? You enjoying Mercedes winning every second race?
I haven't watched the last 2 races.
Oh, God, you really are like becoming I don't know. Is that because Mercedes aren't winning as much? Is it because Mercedes aren't winning as much as they used to? So you've jumped off the bandwagon. That's why you don't care for football because Hawthorn aren't winning.
I just go to bed. Like,
you're not a true fan. You are not a true fan.
Sorry about that.
It doesn't matter when you need to go to bed or not. I've learned from watching this sport from before you were born that basically it doesn't matter what you got the next day. Your passion, your life revolves around it. So if that means you get an hour of sleep, you get an hour of sleep. Suck it up, princess.
Sorry, Ben. I didn't realise. I'll learn for next time.
Yeah. You're such a bandwagoner.
What? No, I'm not.
Oh my goodness. Cool.
Fuck.
Anything else you wanted to share before we end this?
I'm not a bandwagoner.
No? Who's your team in the AFL?
It's what I want to share.
The GWS this week? Adelaide?
Hawthorn.
It's
always been Hawthorn.
Well, look...
Except when it was not Hawthorn.
Always a pleasure having you on the show, Dakoda, and we look forward to talking to you probably in another 10 weeks' time.
If you must.
Classic live performance time. Back to the year of 2014. We've had this person on a few times in terms of their classic performances because she performed a few songs for us over the years. Ella Fence is going on to bigger and better things at the moment too. She's definitely still doing great guns out there. She performed, as I said, plenty of songs on the show, and this is her version of her song called The Dust, performed in 2014 live on the Brink. Here it is, Ella Fence, The Dust, live on the Brink.
You grew up and then you grew back down. There's no way that I can see ever coming around. You're so blind and you're so insecure. But my darling, I cannot help you. No, I can't help you anymore. I've been trying too hard to live your life. For you I'm flying in and out of reality. You are high and your mind is bare. If there's anything left inside you, please treat it with care. Your cuts and all your bruises, they'll fade. But it's only on the surface, 'cause it's just too late. I've been trying too hard to live your life. For you I'm flying in and out of reality. There's just no point in rearranging the dust. Will you just keep on taking till there's nothing left of us? Will you just keep pretending that this is the life you lost? You are young and you wasting time. It's the fear of the unknown that hinders what you may find. I am young but only in literal sense. So I'm building brick by brick my own wall of defense. I've been trying too hard to live your life. For you I'm flying in and out of reality. There's just no point in rearranging the dust. Will you just keep on taking till there's nothing left of us? Will you just keep on taking till there's nothing left of us? Will you just keep pretending that this is the life you lost? Will you just keep on taking till there's nothing left of us?
Each week on the show, we like to traverse the world and find some varying different accounts from people in different parts of the planet. And generally, the parts of the planet that we go to, you've heard from for quite some time. And also, pretty much all of those people have penises because for some reason we're sexist and we only seem to get men on the show. But we thought we'd change that. We thought we'd, first of all, go to a place where we've never spoken to anyone from before, even though a quarter of my heritage kind of comes from this place. And secondly, we also thought we'd find someone without a penis penis, although she might have one. I'm not too sure. Perhaps she can discuss that throughout this chat. We're going to Scotland to speak to somebody called Katy Forrester. I don't know who she is. She just popped up on my recording one day. Katy, welcome to the Brink.
Hi.
How are you? How are you today? I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. It's very early today.
Is it? Just tell everybody what time it is for you. What time have we dragged you out of bed to record this little segment?
It's like 20 to 7 in the morning.
20 to 7 in the morning. You know, back when we used to be on breakfast radio, we started at 7 o'clock in the morning, so we would have been in studio up and ready and raring to go. So, just thought I'd let you know that.
Yeah, I'm not that energetic. That's fine.
No. Well, this should be fun then.
Yeah.
Well, how many cups of coffee have you had to start off the morning so far? Then I'll ask you that to start off with.
I don't do coffee. I do tea.
Well, that's a bit silly. Doesn't tea put you to sleep? Isn't that kind of the opposite?
No, it's the same amount of caffeine, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that because I drank tea when I was like 8 and then I grew some balls and drank coffee. But we're not
I love the smell of coffee. I just can't drink it. Like, I can't stand the taste.
I am intrigued to talk to you about all things Scottish because, if this goes well, we can get you on each week. You can tell us all about things that are happening in that place called Scotland. I mean, what's the tagline for Scotland? I mean, if I say New Zealand, I say, like, the land of the long white cloud, and if I say America, I don't know, something, they'll shoot me if I say it wrong, but what do you say about Scotland? Is it just the land of Nessie?
No, our slogan is "Visit Scotland." Like, that's what we say. It's like, okay.
Wow, that's original.
But basically all the adverts for Visit Scotland are it's like this guy with a Highlands accent. It's a really pretty accent. Like,
yeah.
It just makes you really happy. Like, you'd fall asleep listening to him. It's like, Visit Scotland. It's like, you really want to.
You did that so well. Okay, do that again. I feel like I would need to visit Scotland after you do that. Visit Scotland.
No, but it's like his accent is so beautiful, and he's like, Visit Scotland. And you're like, okay, I will. And I live here, and I want to visit it. So, yeah.
So basically a bunch of people in the Scottish Tourist Board have like sat around a table probably all day, like going, right, let's come up with a slogan for Scotland. And then essentially one guy's just gone, I've got it. Visit Scotland. Like, oh, brilliant. You deserve a raise.
I'm going to send you you have to look at the YouTube videos though, because they're really good. Like, our country is pretty. It's pretty. Like, it's very...
Well, I mean, look, it looks very pretty, but I mean, it can't compete with the greatest Australian slogan of all time. We literally had the slogan, Australia, where the bloody hell are you? So, I mean, that literally was our slogan to try and get you to come here. So, I mean, couldn't it, like, I know Scotland's very similar to Australia, aren't they? In the fact that you swear a lot and you drink a lot. So couldn't it be like, I fucking come to Scotland, eh?
Well, I think we're trying to show that there's more to it than that. But, yeah, pretty much alcohol is our life.
Well,
whiskey.
It's funny actually. There's a place in Australia called the Northern Territory, and they actually had a bumper sticker that had CU, and then in the middle it had really small writing that said in the, and then it had, because the initials are NT. So basically, if you looked at that bumper sticker, it said cunt, but it would be like really like it said CU in the NT. I have to send you a picture of it. It's quite funny, but we're honest people in Australia.
I don't know. I don't think we're allowed to do that on cars.
Right.
We still have some moral standing.
Some. Okay. I'm sure we'll learn. We'll learn. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because, look, as you are aware, a lot of my heritage and family come from the great country of Scotland, and I've never been there. I've been, to America and Canada so many times, I've just never gone to trace my heritage. So, I mean, why should I come to Scotland, Katy? Besides obviously coming to see you, and besides men in nice accents telling me to visit the place, I mean, is there any other reasons I should visit Scotland?
Well, I would say there's so many. There's kilts, there's locks. If you want the stereotype, I don't know.
Now, hang on. Just stop for a second there. A lock meaning like a lake, as in not like a padlock.
No, lock. So lock woman, lock like where Nessie is. Like,
right. Okay. I just for dumb bums out there like myself who are listening, going like, why would I want to go visit Scotland to just unlock a padlock? Like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. Yeah.
So we've got loads of beautiful wilderness walks and the locks and stuff like that. And we have some of the most amazing castles, to be fair. Not like Disney castles, but like proper fucking castles. Like, they were quite cool.
So do actual princesses live in these castles, though?
Yeah, so Queen of Scots lived in Edinburgh Castle. Mary Queen of Scots, sorry, lived in Edinburgh Castle. All the kings and stuff kind of lived between Edinburgh and Stirling. Stirling Castle's prettier, like it's bigger and nicer.
But do they still live there now, though, Katie? Though that's what I'm like. Are there still princesses and princes and kings who live in these castles?
No, well, they come to Holyrood Palace, so that's where the royal residence is.
Okay,
which is a bit shitty.
Okay.
But it does mean that people can, like, go to the castle and stuff. And then you've got, like, Wallace Monument in Stirling, which is, like, William Wallace Monument, which, after the film Braveheart, basically got a statue of Mel Gibson out the front. Which is, like, it's literally a statue of Mel Gibson dressed as Braveheart.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you want a statue of Mel Gibson? I'm sure, all, Jewish people and women don't go there because they probably think it hates them, but, yeah.
Yeah, we moved it a while ago. It got moved to, like, the back of...
Oh, shit! He's not famous, then put it in the back!
Yeah, but it used to literally be, like, you drive up to the monument. Now, the monument's, like, this massive tower, like, I can't think to describe it. It's literally just a tower.
Right.
And you climb this, like, tiny little stairwell, and you go to the top of it, and then there's just beautiful views over, like, all of Stirling.
Okay.
And you can see the castle and stuff.
But not Mel Gibson, he's in the back.
So well, like, literally, like, if there was two people my size walking up the stairs, like, we wouldn't fit. Like, it's so fucking teeny tiny.
So I'm screwed then.
When you see, like, American... No, but like, when you see American tourists going in, you're just like, oh dear, you're going to die halfway up. But it's, like, little landings to, like, cool out and stuff. But yeah, Wallace Monument's, like, my favourite.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just thinking there of poor old Mel Gibson in the back. So does that mean if all of a sudden everyone forgives Mel Gibson and he's back to being liked again, will they move it back to the front?
No, to be fair, they moved it to the back because they got complaints that we were basing one of our national heroes off of Mel Gibson and not of what he actually looked like.
Kind of like everyone assumes all Australians are either, Paul Hogan or Steve Irwin where they look like me, kind of. So, yeah. I mean, one of my favourite people in the world is Scottish, Shirley Manson, lead singer of Garbage, So, where's the statue of Shirley Manson?
I don't know, but there's a photo of her in my local chippy. She used to go to my chip shop. I don't know. Do you do chip shop?
Look, we have fish and chip. We just call them takeaway stores. When you said chippy, I was assuming it was like a carpenter. That's what we call a chippy here in Australia. Is a carpenter. Okay. So I was thinking, wow. So like this carpenter walks around with like a photo of Shirley Manson on him all the time.
So like beside my flat is like one of the best chip shops in Edinburgh. It's amazing. But yeah, they've got the photos of all the celebs on the wall, like who ate there, and Shirley Manson's like, that's her favourite. She lived nearby. Okay,
so if I was to visit that chip shop, they'd put a photo of me on the wall then, clearly.
No.
Wow, that hurts my feelings. That really does hurt my feelings. Tom Hanks went there, so he got chips there, did he?
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite cool.
Just because, like, he was just randomly in Scotland, or was he there filming a movie? Was he there to see the Mel Gibson statue?
Well, I live in Edinburgh, not Stirling, so they're different places.
Oh well, Scotland, same place.
Yeah. And like people come all the time and just there's random. So the best chip shop in Scotland has loads of celebrities on it, like Robin Williams and stuff, and it's just people come to Scotland. It's an amazing place to come to.
So you're very proud. You're very proud then of your Scottish heritage. I mean, look, all jokes aside, I'm very proud that my family comes from Scotland. I've always said that when I get married, I will get married in a kilt. That's why I'm single now, but that's another story. But it seems like such a great place to see, and it's kind of, as much as I keep traveling to one side of the world, I really do want to come to Europe, and I really would love to travel a lot around the British Isles. And I'm kind of careful in saying Britain, because Scottish people kind of can get a bit offended if I say you're British, right? Because I know Andy Murray hates that,
Yeah, and he's our god. So it depends who you ask. If you asked me 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have minded being British. But 5 years ago, I didn't really care about anything political and stuff. So, yeah, I'm trying not to get political before 7 a.m.
So, but again, if I said, here is Katy Forrester, she's British, you'd be like, fuck you, I'm Scottish.
I would say Scottish before. I would say Scottish, and then I'm European, and then British. That would be like
a third option. That's
Yeah, it would be fun.
It should be like fourth option. It should be like, no, I'm Scottish, I'm European, I'm East Irish, then I'm British.
I have no Irish, like, my Irish descent are, like, so far back, I can't get an Irish passport. Wow. So when the whole Brexit thing happened, everyone, like, tried to figure out, like, if your grandparents are Irish, you can get an Irish passport.
Mm-hmm.
But my great-grandparents are Irish, so I can't get a fucking Irish passport.
Damn
but
it.
my mum can, so I'm like, try to convince my mum to get one so that if Brexit hits, I can then get one after, and we can all run away.
Well, I mean,
Well,
I can get the British passport because my grandma's Scottish. So, but I mean, apparently I shouldn't get one then. Maybe I'll wait till you guys to become your own country properly, and then I'll just get a Scottish passport.
Yeah, that would be awesome. The Scottish passport will be amazing, and the unicorn will finally not have a chain on its neck.
Now, can you actually clear that up? Because another great. You have so many great people coming from Scotland. We've mentioned Shirley Manson, Andy Murray, one of my favourite comedians, Danny Boy, who's been on this show, and in one of his routines, he's talking about national animals of like all the countries in the world, and he legitimately says that Scotland is a unicorn. Is that so? That is true. Your national animal is the unicorn.
Yeah, and Wales have a dragon, so like we like mystical shit. I always like the joke that like when they decided on national animals, and it was like Britain doing it, so like all the countries kind of got together, and England were probably like, yeah, we're gonna have a lion, and then Wales were like, fuck it, we're having a dragon, and Scotland went, no, we're having a unicorn. So it's just like, but yeah,
what's Ireland's
so
a fucking pixie? I mean,
I actually feel really bad. I can't remember what islands.
All right, I'm looking
like,
that shit
oh,
up.
shit.
A leprechaun, probably. I don't know.
This is how bad I am as a British person. I don't know.
But I mean, Ireland, like, except for the north, that's its own country. It's not even Britain, though. So
yeah, like, but I don't really. Northern Ireland scares me a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, do people care? Like, I always assume that Wales is the forgotten part of like the United Kingdom, but to me, it seems like it would be Northern Ireland. I mean, do people even realise that's a thing?
No, they do. Northern Ireland, especially right now, is kind of royally fucking us. But it depends on your political point of view. Again,
right?
Depends. I don't know. Northern Ireland is kind of scary. So basically, like the coolest thing I think that's happened recently in Scotland, or one of the coolest things, is our First Minister, because abortions are illegal in Ireland still. Like you would still get arrested, even if you were raped, which is so fucked up. So that you can come over to Scotland and use the NHS in Scotland if you're from Ireland and get an abortion.
Right.
And our First Minister passed that. So that was quite daring, because that's basically pissing off an entire part of the country.
And this is coming from a country that you can. I mean, they're ahead of us in the fact that gay people can get married in Ireland, and yet we can't. I'm not gay, but I could be if I was. I couldn't get married in Australia, so that's what I guess I'm trying to say. So, I mean, that legitimately makes sense. I've just googled the. Apparently, Ireland doesn't have a national animal. There's a debate that it's either the hare or the Irish elk, but they apparently don't officially have one. So there you go. Here's a fact about Australia. Did you know we're the only country in the world that eats the our two national animals? We're the only country in the world that does it. So
eat it. Oh, we can't really eat ours.
Kangaroo and emu. I mean, you could eat a unicorn if they were real. I mean, they're real, aren't they? Like they're just hanging out with Nessie, right?
I like to believe they're real. But the thing with the unicorn though is like on all the royal seals have the English lion and the Scottish unicorn, because obviously it's the union of the crown. But like the unicorn has a chain around its neck.
Right.
And the whole reason is that a free unicorn is a dangerous beast.
Right.
Which means
just like
in my
Scotland.
head that if Scotland was free, that we'd be way more powerful and better. But what freaks me out is, that's my understanding of it. But what freaks me out is so that like every royal family gets a slightly different seal, so they tweak it slightly. And Kate and William, obviously the next generation of king and queens, the unicorn has got 2 fucking chains around its neck, so it's like we're getting even like more destroyed. I was like, what the hell?
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
Wow. I know like Prince Charles is technically the Prince of Wales. So who's the Prince of Scotland?
We have the Duke of Edinburgh.
Right.
So
okay.
that's the Queen's husband, and then her son will become the next Duke. The youngest son will become the Duke of Edinburgh after him.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but anyway, I just was kind of weirdly just thinking about that when it comes to that. One of my, just on all things Scottish, because again, I'm basing this purely on the great Danny Boy. He does in his routine when he's talking about the handing out of like the national, like the plants, the flowers, and how like he does this little skit about how like, oh, you know, Scotland shows up late, and he's all like, oh, what's that over there? And it's like, oh, that's the thistle. You don't want that. That's a weed. You know, it's been killing the rose bush all the time. Oh, the rose bush. We'll take it. Back it up. It's funny. You have to, watch it.
Which is weird, but yeah. Thistles are pretty though. They're weird.
But I mean, this is the country of haggis. I mean, haggis is pretty. I had haggis when I was very young. I can't remember it that much, but I remember it wasn't that bad.
It's amazing. Actually, do you know the best thing about haggis? It sounds really weird. Is vegetarian haggis is awesome.
Now, how does that work? How is that a thing, considering that haggis is basically every part of the animal that you couldn't cook in the first place?
Well, vegetarian haggis is basically you're going for the same kind of texture, but with herbs and stuff. I don't know how they do it, but there's like a vegetarian restaurant in Edinburgh, and they make the most amazing vegan haggis, nips and tatties.
I just can't picture that as being a thing. Like, everybody complains about haggis being disgusting, so then the vegetarians gone, we really miss out on the disgustingness, like, fucking create all the shit parts of the plant.
It's not disgusting, though. It's like, it's really amazing. Like, haggis is lovely.
Okay.
I might actually have some tonight.
Really? Okay, so you can just walk into, like, your local chippy shop and say, hi, can I get some haggis and chips?
Well, if you go into a chip shop, you would get, like, a deep-fried haggis. I'm not really up for that.
Right. Does McDonald's do the McHaggis burger in Scotland?
No.
Well, that's a shame. They should. That's a good marketing option, though.
Yeah, but you just go into any restaurant and get haggis, nips and tatties, which is haggis, potatoes, and tuna.
All right. I feel like I need to come to Scotland. I really do feel like... So, I mean, this is legitimately a dumb Australian question because, again, I come from a country where we can't drive to another country. I live in a state where I can't even drive to another state, so I'm that fucking isolated. Now, I know you're also on an island, but you've got multiple countries on one island, and then you can technically drive to the main part of Europe because there's a tunnel there, right? But like, if you right now were to get in a car and drive to your beloved England, how long would it take you to get to England from where you live right now?
Well, Newcastle's like a 2.5 hour drive.
Right, so two and is it like... there wouldn't be a passport, right? Because obviously you're all technically under the one passport because you're technically not your own country, even though you should be.
Yeah, there's no passports yet.
Right. But with Brexit...
Brexit means that travelling to Europe is going to be more messed up. So we've basically got 2 years to enjoy Europe. And then we have to go in the long queue that everyone else does and queue for 4 fucking hours to get through customs. Because some twats decided that, we want to trade separately, even though we don't really know what we're agreeing to. And we haven't made a plan. So we're just going to, agree to it. And then they fucked up the travel plans for, everyone else.
I can see where your opinion lies on that one there, Katy.
Brexit can go fuck itself.
This is I mean, we had Noah on the show last week talking about sort of borders in Europe and all that sort of stuff, and that fascinated me, but this is fascinating me even more, and it all just basically comes down to Scottish people going, Brexit can go fuck itself.
Well, yeah, and it was just the most annoying thing, and I think because it came after, so the Scottish independence referendum, it was pretty fucking close, right? So 55 to 45 in a percentage, that's not massive for the vote. Could have been closer. I wish it was. I wish it went another way. But basically, Scottish independence, we were all promised all this. Your voice will matter. Scotland will be important. It's we will value Scotland and we will give you more rights. And that never really happened. And the first thing they did after Scottish independence was give English MPs more rights. Which I was like, okay, cool, cunts. And then Brexit comes around. Brexit, which is Scottish independence was an almost 10-year build-up. There was research being done into it, there was campaigns being run by loads of political parties, not just the SNP. There was conversations going on about Scottish independence for years. Ever since it first came about and the option of it in the 70s, we even discussed it. It's not something that we took lightly, it was a big time build-up. Brexit was pulled out the ass 6 months prior, and then we were given a fucking vote. And there was no research, and there was no nothing. And I don't even, I couldn't tell you if Brexit was good or bad. Nobody knew what Brexit fucking was. It was this Britain wants to be British again. I'm like, great, have a fucking tea and a fucking Thai tea or something and just let's ruin the fucking country. But no, they decided to vote for it, and then Scotland voted to remain and everywhere else voted to leave. But very much as an overall country, and Ireland stayed. Ireland and Scotland voted to stay in Europe.
So does that mean then? Sorry, you continue. Sorry, I interrupted.
So basically, because England have more votes and more people, it doesn't matter what we vote. And this is what it proved. The whole Scottish independence was, your voice will matter. It never matters what we vote. In the entire Scottish, the Union's history, only 2 occasions has Scotland's vote changed who is in the House of Parliament. 2 occasions. It's basically whatever England votes, the whole of the UK gets.
Wow. So does that mean then that, and again, like, we weren't going to get too political, but hey, we get political sometimes. This is the Brink. We start off with one thing, we end up talking about another. Does that then mean that Scotland will have another independence vote, or is that still being discussed right now?
I think it's still being discussed. Basically, at the moment, because there's so much uncertainty, I don't think it would actually go through if we had it just now. And if Nicola Sturgeon was to put a vote through and it was to fail, she's basically ending her career. Like, basically, she has to take it when she knows she's going to get it. So I think maybe 2020 we might have one. That's
a life motto. You should take it when you know you're going to get it. I mean,
yeah. You know. Sturgeon's like, Nicola Sturgeon's though, she's really clever, and
so she's basically your leader. She's your first minister.
Yeah, she's the first minister of Scotland.
Right.
So everyone has opinions on her, but I think she's really good, and she's brought in some really good things like the baby box. So every baby born in Scotland, the parents are given this box with like nappies and some formula and just stuff that, like, if you're struggling, it's really good to have. And also the box doubles up as like a cot, so that the baby can sleep in the box safely.
Right.
So it's just.
So in Scotland, it's natural to put your baby in a box, is it? Shut up! Stop crying! Put in the box.
Well, it's more aimed for the fact that, I mean, everyone gets it, but it's aimed for the fact that there's people having babies who are on benefits who, you know, £40 a week isn't going to buy you a cot that's safe for your child to sleep in. And,
True.
You know, they don't want to have any cot death. They don't want any of that shit. So, I respect Nicola Sturgeon for a lot of the stuff she's done.
All right, cool.
She's not perfect.
For bonus points here, Katie, can you tell me who the Prime Minister of Australia is? You just had the blankest look on your face. Don't worry. You ask any Australian, we don't know the answer either because we change it every 3 weeks, so it's fine.
Okay.
Malcolm Turnbull. At least at the time of recording this. By the time this is released, it'll be someone else, so it's fine.
Your president doesn't take over the news headlines, so it's a good thing, probably.
Because he doesn't do anything. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Malcolm's, he's an alright guy. But, like, I mean, politics in Australia doesn't really, make ripples on the world stage unless we lose a Prime Minister again, which has happened a lot in the last few years. So.
The only thing I've heard about you guys politically lately is that Donald Trump hung up on you.
Oh, yeah, he did. That made us famous for about 5 minutes.
That was like the most political information I've ever heard in Australia.
Yeah, well, that's. I actually no word of a lie. I hung up on the Prime Minister when we had her on, when it was Julia Gillard and we had her on the show. I accidentally, instead of closing the interview out properly, I pressed the wrong button. I ended up disconnecting her rather than being able to say like a proper thank you to her. So I was hanging up on the Prime Minister before it was cool. So just yeah, exactly. Katie, we're going to try and do this weekly at least, or we'll see how we go. And we'll find new things each week to talk about Scotland. We can talk politics. We do that obviously. We talked Trump already with Paul, so we can talk Scotland, Theresa May with Katie. We don't like her, all right?
No, I don't want to talk to Theresa May, no.
Can we bag out the French? I'll be happy to have a segment each week where we just rip shit into the French. That's fine by me.
I don't mind the... All
right, that's been Katy Forrester. That's been a fun segment. I said bag out the French, not love on the French. God, I know somebody who can do that already. She's got about 50% more to go. So, Katie, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us, and we will hopefully speak to you again next week.
Okay, bye.
Let's press a button and get a bit backy on the Flash.
This is like a flashback. This is like a dream.
Probably could have said flashbacky. That might have worked a little bit better there. Yes, that's flashback time, where we get time to flashback. We're going back to the year 2008 again. We're continuing on from the best of 2008. And as we approach 9 years since the Beijing Summer Olympics, and of course, just during the week, we've also passed the 1 year anniversary of the Rio Games that happened last year. We obviously used to go to the Olympics quite a fair bit when it came to our coverage of the show, at least sort of. And this was some Olympic commentary that Josh and myself did during 2008. Let's just hear how how good apparently we are when it comes to Olympic commentary.
Yes, and we are live here at the Water Cube here in Beijing. Ben Waterworth here commentating for BAF on 1, Belgian Radio. Joining me here is my co-commentator Joshua Shoebridge, live at the Water Cube for the synchronised swimming duet qualification. Josh, thank you very much for your time here.
Thank you, Ben. It's been many years since I've actually commentated the synchronised swimming event, since my days down at the KGY Radio in Kyrgyzstan.
Yes, absolutely. We're about to witness the Egyptian champions here of Reem Abdelazem and Dela El Gabali here. Now, you've witnessed these guys quite a lot back in Egypt, and your thoughts on this routine they're about to perform?
Well, what they're going to be attempting is the lesser-known Quasimodo move, which you yourself, Ben, have attempted a few times before.
That was my signature move that I did create. We are witnessing the Egyptians now about to get in the pool. The crowd going slightly wild for the Egyptian champions, and it has to be said, national record holders. Firm favourites here to finish at least in the top 30.
The hot ticket to go at the moment is that the El Gabali has tried to inspire Abdelazem to do a few new routines during this one. They haven't rehearsed some of this today.
Yes,
so
I've heard about that.
The word on the street at the moment is that they will be trying to perform a double Quasimodo.
Now, as we watch the winners start here, now this routine is, of course, the recreation of the mummification of the great King Tutankhamun back in Egypt, way back in the days.
The boy king who was slain by his top advisor.
Very sad story, and I do believe if the Egyptians do not come home with a medal, they will face a similar fate. El Gabali here starting off nice and into a free arm twist routine here. This, of course, does involve the rotating of the arm in a 180-degree angle. That, of course, does seem impossible, but the Egyptians seem to manage it here, Josh.
They do. Abdelazem is a little bit behind. I don't think they have gold material.
I don't know. Possibly for a top 20. That's their aim. Now, as the music starts to pick up a little bit, Abdelazem here starts the mummification process by the removal of the brain from the nose with a pole. This, of course, is created by putting the arm up El Gabali's nose slowly and retracting a small instrument that was placed there earlier. As we do witness here, though, a bit of trouble there pulling it out, and as they move into the leg twist rotational move here, the synchronisation is a little bit off, and that will get marked out by the judges.
Yeah, that'll cost them some points, Ben.
And I can see a bit of blood in the pool, which does add to the overall effect of this, but I don't know if the judges there, the Swiss judge is a bit harsh. Now, as the music builds up a little bit faster here, this is where they get into the first attempt at a Quasimodo, which does, of course, very much involve a possibility of death, Josh.
Yeah, here goes the right leg by El Gabali.
Oh, that is brilliant.
And they're getting up there.
The crowd is liking that
Abdelazem
move.
is getting there.
And El Gabali now's fallen a little bit behind here as she attempts the first Quasimodo. She pulls that off, and that is going to leave a bruise. She's marked that up severely. That's going to get a deduction.
No. And Abdelazem, as the music picks up, the double Quasimodo.
No, not quite yet, Josh. That was a bit of a fake there, to get the crowd up a little bit. She's got to move around here.
I tell you what, I'm excited about this, Ben.
She's twisted her leg up around her head now. This is going to go. Here we go.
Here we go.
She's pulling it off here. This is going to go good. Oh, that is good.
It's in time.
That's the first one. Second one's building up now. She's out of the water. The arms come off. The legs around her head. Has she got it? Oh, she's just missed out on the end there.
Egypt has just missed out on 27th place.
But that will be a national record here. We wait for the judges' thing, the judges' scores. I have to say that will easily be the most inspirational moment in the history of Egyptian synchronized swimming.
I am excited about this, Ben. And next up would be the French.
We'll get to them in just a moment, Josh, but we're going to see the scoring here. What have they got there? 0.97 from the Swiss, 0.61 from the French, and not surprisingly, a 0.12 from the Dutch.
Yes.
That wraps us up here at the Water Cube. We'll be back after this short break with the French routine.
Synchronized swimming will never be the same again. At least that's what I've heard. Yeah, that was commentary. You can see why we never actually got to form a proper career out of that. Every part of the show, we find someone else to talk to, and this time we, of course, find the person to talk to about the man that everybody seems to talk to, well, talk about. We don't talk to him because we're not real news. He doesn't talk to fake news. Welcome to the show, Paul Luttrell.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Now, I that was like the weirdest intro I think I've probably ever given you. I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, Donald Trump, that's who we're generally here to talk about. As always, it's been a fun week in the world of Trump land, including more people getting fired. I feel like just a week ago we were talking about some new guy and he's gone already. I don't even want to try and say his name. I can't pronounce it. The Mooch. Isn't that what they're calling him?
Yeah, the Mooch, Scaramucci.
Right. And he's gone. He's gone. What happened to him?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they thought he wasn't the right fit for it. It's funny as well because he was bagging out some other guy, Reigns Priebus, I think you say his name, and he got fired. And then a few days later, the Mooch was fired. So, yeah, he did come off as a used car salesman. So
A Mooch.
the Mooch, yeah, he was very much like a mafia don's kind of like, kiss ass kind of guy.
Right. So who's in now? Who? I mean, this is the press guy, right? This is basically what their important the role is in the White House.
Yeah. So they've got John Kelly in there, who is a former Homeland Security, head of the Homeland Security. So he's a bit of a change of pace, I think. Not quite as eccentric as the Mooch. Yeah, I don't know.
Everything's happening. It just. I mean, it kind of seems like. One of these roles that is just cursed, I mean, I don't know what else you could compare that to. I mean, I'd say the Australian Prime Minister, but I mean, we actually kept one for a while now, so it's kind of probably a bad comparison. I mean, do you think that just like it's going to get to the point where you and I are going to get a phone call for this job at some point? Because seriously, it just seems like they're just going through these people so quickly.
Yeah, maybe. I think that it's not a job that a lot of people would want. I don't think it's kind of first point of contact with the press, and so they're probably under the most stress of anyone because Trump is erratic and doing all these stupid things, and they have to try and defend someone who is very, very difficult to defend. So, they end up being the fall guy because they're under so much strain, I guess.
Are we expecting someone like Sean Spicer to come out with a tell-all interview anytime soon and just be like, it was so pressured, I'm not like this, you've got to understand, I'm a normal person?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I feel like it takes a very special kind of person to take on that kind of responsibility for someone like Trump, and I don't know. Maybe I don't think that they're the kind of person that would show a kind of a real human face. I think that to take that position, you'd have to kind of be fairly delusional in the first place.
True, very true. Now, not a lot else has really happened, I feel, during the week with him. I mean, it's sort of been a semi-quiet week, unless I'm missing something glaring. I mean, he hasn't banned, humans from the military this week, has he?
No, I don't think so. I think he's just been, off. I saw a few headlines where he was asked why he doesn't spend as much time at the White House as he should, and he said the place is a dump. Yeah, righto. Isn't this the guy who's supposed to be in touch with real Americans? I don't think too many people live in as a luxury kind of estate as the White House. So.
Yeah, if the President of the United States is calling the White House a dump, I mean, wow. I mean, look, I've seen the White House. It's a beautiful place. I wanted to get closer. I couldn't get as close as I wanted to, but I think everyone, not just Americans, holds that as kind of like, this place of high esteem and looks like a nice place to me. I mean, if Donald Trump thinks it's a dump, then wow, that's what does he consider not a dump then?
If you look at his house, his apartment and whatever, then yeah, it's basically just gold. All of the interior decorating is just gold. It's pretty over the top. So
I think from what I know in some contexts that like each administration or each like first family that lives there are allowed to kind of renovate it certain ways. I think they're allowed to kind of get a bit of leeway because, it's their house. They're allowed to, spruce it up a little bit. So you wonder how long it's going to be until it's just painted completely gold and it's like, this is the gold house, which has got a giant Trump casino sign out the front of it or something like that. You wonder how much they're allowed to get away with when it comes to developing it. Yeah.
I think it would probably have a pretty set. I reckon anything that's kind of permanent would not be really allowed. I think that there's there's a lot of tradition and a lot of history there that they want to hang on to, so I don't think they'd want to do anything too drastic.
And you kind of also feel, because obviously, when a president leaves the White House, there's always a portrait of them put somewhere up in the White House. You wonder how many of them Donald Trump's just going to leave. Like, you just feel like he's the type of, person that on that day, the inevitable day when he doesn't get re-elected in 2020, that he's just going to be so pissed off about it. He's just going to cut a photo of himself and put him on every single president's portrait, so that when President Kanye West is inaugurated in the White House, he's walking around and he's a picture of John F. Kennedy with a photo of Donald Trump super glued onto his head.
Yeah, I feel like Trump probably already has put posters of him over the top of every single portrait there.
He's like, I didn't do it. The portrait, people said I had the greatest portrait of all time. No one else had a better portrait than me. So it just felt like it had to go up every corner of this White House. I don't think he could compete with another person having given some sort of credit or honor or something like that. He has to be in the honor position in every room. Oh, it's funny. Now, one thing actually that's come out just in the night before we've recorded this segment is the full transcript of that infamous phone call between Malcolm Turnbull and Donald Trump back in January, the one where, of course, Trump hung up on our very good Prime Minister. Now, I'm just scrolling through some of it here, and we won't go through it word for word, because apparently it was a 24-minute phone call. So good on them. I just love the way that, first of all, this starts off. So, Malcolm Trump, good evening, and Donald Trump's like, Mr. Prime Minister, how are you? I'm doing very well. And then Donald Trump goes, and I guess our friend Greg Norman, he's doing very well.
That's how they've been hooked up. Yep.
Oh, Turnbull replies, he's a great mutual friend. Yes.
Not that we are both allies in, the heads of two nations, but we've got a mutual friend, Greg Norman, a golfer.
Yep. Small talk here. They go into the fact that they've both got similar backgrounds, that they're both businessmen, which, is what their way of saying we're both very rich men coming into this position. And, rambling on about stuff. I'm trying to get to the good stuff here. Malcolm Turnbull, can you hear me out, Mr. President? Yeah, go ahead. And he's going on about refugees, the deal. You can tell Trump's starting to get a little bit pissed off here. He's like, who made the deal? Obama? It seems to be going quite well here. Doesn't want them to refugees to destroy the country, bringing up Angela Merkel. Yep, cool. I'm really... Oh, here we go. Turnbull's really explaining it. There's a lot of words here from Malcolm Turnbull. And I'm actually reading this on the Washington Post website, and they've done a great thing here by kind of shortening bits and pieces to get to, the dot points. But this here, Donald Trump replies, Malcolm, why is this so important? It calls him Malcolm. It's not Mr. Prime Minister. Malcolm, why is this so important? I do not understand. This is going to kill me. I am the world's greatest person that does not want to let people into the country.
What the hell does that mean? Right? That's the world's greatest person that does not want to let people into the country.
Wow. And Turnbull's standing up to him because Trump's making wrong numbers here. And now I'm agreeing to take 2,000 people, and I agree I can vet them, but that puts me in a bad position. It makes me look so bad, and I've only been here a week. Turnbull replies, with great respect, that is not right. It is not 2,000. Trump replies, well, it's close. I've also heard 5,000 as well. Turnbull, the given number in the agreement is 1,250. But it goes on for a little bit. And Trump going on about the Democrats. That is why they lost the election, because of stupid deals like this. You have brokered many a stupid deal in business, and I respect you, but I guarantee that you broke many a stupid deal. This is a stupid deal. This deal will make me look terrible. Turnbull's reply, Mr. President, I think this will make you look like a man who stands by the commitments of the United States. It shows that you are committed. And Trump interrupts with, okay, this shows me to be a dope.
I think he's already shown himself to be that.
Oh, and Trump...
Why would he? If he's, this doesn't sound like a bad deal for Turnbull. So why would he say that this is? I bet you've broken many stupid deals.
Yeah.
Well, that make him a good businessman if he was able to broker a deal that was good for him.
I'll tell you one thing, this transcript, I'm glad they've leaked this, because I remember us talking about this, kind of saying, like, can you imagine Turnbull, like, absolutely shitting himself during this phone call? If anything, he's actually holding his own here. Turnbull's doing very well in this, just reading through it all. He's explaining here a little bit about our refugee situation. Trump replies at one point, Malcolm, but they arrive by a boat, and then Turnbull's like, correct, we stopped the boats, to which Trump replies, give them to the United States. We are like a dumping ground for the rest of the world. What's going on? The Russians are brought up here. I'm trying to get to the end of the call where he hangs up on him. So Turnbull at one point said, oh no, hang on, Trump, this is right at the end of the call. He says, I have had it. I have been making these calls all day, and this is the most unpleasant call all day. Putin was a pleasant call. This is ridiculous. Turnbull replies, do you want to talk about Syria and the DPRK? Trump, inaudible. This is crazy. Turnbull clearly at this point is being professional still. Thank you for your commitment. It is very important to us. Trump, it is important to you and it's embarrassing to me. It's an embarrassment to me, but at least I got you off the hook. So you put me back on the hook. Turnbull, you can count on me. I will be there again and again. Trump, I hope so. Okay, thank you, Malcolm. Turnbull, okay, thank you. So at no point does it seem like he actually hangs up on him. But I love how Turnbull's like, is that Turnbull just like, you know, like when you're having a fight with someone and you know it's a losing battle because they're just clearly not listening to you. So you just at some point are like, okay, sure, dear, absolutely. No, I agree. That's for sure. Like, I just feel Turnbull at the point is like, thank you for your commitment. It's very important to us. Yep, you can count on me. I'll be there again and again.
Well, Trump just acts like a child, so there's not really much you can do about it.
Wow. This is good reading. I highly recommend people read this whole transcript, and I applaud Malcolm Turnbull. He held his own in this call.
Yeah, well, as he should. I don't think that he would be all that intimidated. I think he would know that Trump is not exactly an intellectual giant that's going to somehow out-duel him in a confrontation like this. So, yeah. Wow,
this is great. Again, this is the President of the United States on a phone call with the Prime Minister of Australia, opening up the phone call with, and I guess our friend Greg Norman is doing well. At what point, like, do you speak? Like, I know this small talk, I get it, you know, sometimes, but, like, I mean, this is the very first conversation between these two, you know, world leaders. Oh, how's Greg Norman? He's just posing naked on Instagram. I don't know.
Is that the only way that Trump actually knows that Australia exists? Greg Norman, he's from a place called Australia.
looks at it like a Wikipedia page. Famous Australians. Oh, Greg Norman. Okay.
Golfing buds.
Yeah. Oh, you know, how's Paul Hogan? Is Crocodile Dundee still in cinemas? It's like 30 years ago, Mr. President, but thanks for asking. Anything? I mean, Paul. On a side note, did I see correctly on the weekend that you did another run, or was I not looking at that properly?
It was just a fun run kind of thing.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was all right. It was windy.
Right.
It was that. But getting back to just one other thing.
Okay, right.
Presidency before we get on to something else. The healthcare bill. Mm-hmm. They got shot down by John McCain. That was pretty impressive.
Oh, that's right. He gave he walked on the floor and just basically gave a bit of a thumbs up, and then everybody was like gasping.
Yeah, this was it was almost like a Western. He kind of walked in there, like, let's say John Wayne McCain, busting in there, going to duel Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
And really dramatic fashion, kind of got the attention of everyone in the room, got the speaker's attention, and then gave the no vote.
So is that it now? That Trump has to work out something else again to kind of like...
Yeah. So killed the bill. I guess I don't know if they'd have to redraft it and do some other process, but it doesn't seem like it's likely to get through in the way they're doing it. But yeah, John McCain crossing the floor, party lines.
And it's in America, it's not kind of like here, is it? Where if it fails, 3 times, it's double dissolution off to the polls. Whereas there, I think they just keep going and going and going until they change a couple of words here and there on paragraph C, section D, to get it through, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's weird, both systems, I guess, because, in some way, ours is kind of weird. Like, that law didn't pass 3 times. Well, off to the polls you go! Which, I mean, it's an interesting way. Yeah, I mean, just quickly on the run, I was just going to quickly bring this up. So, I mean, a fun run, did you do well? I mean, or was it simply because it was a fun run, they don't really rank people where they finish?
Oh, they do, yeah. It's still a race. I mean, it's just called a fun run, I guess, so you get more participants. But I was 7th in the 5K.
Right, that's all good. That's good. Out of how many people?
A couple of hundred.
Wow, there you go. So you seem to be gradually improving, because I swear each time I ask you about this, like, your positions seem to be getting higher. So is that your goal? That, I mean, I think you've talked about before how there's kind of a group of people that go to all these different runs. So you're obviously running mostly against the same people, but I mean, you seem to be improving, and that's, I guess, where you're trying to get.
Yeah, I think that's the overall goal, just kind of gradually move up. I think I've kind of plateaued a little bit now, because I had this really sharp improvement curve where I was kind of increasing mileage, and now I've got to that point where it's getting harder and harder to get improvements.
Right.
And so it's at that, but I mean, it's still fun, enjoyable to just have a race every weekend. It was really, really windy, hard conditions. I got kind of caught out by myself for a little bit.
Okay.
And kind of had to chase some people down, but yeah.
Where was this fun run? Where was it held?
So it was Glenorchy. It was out on like where the deck is.
Uh-huh. Okay.
On foreshore, the gasp thing around there.
Yep.
So yeah, you get a lot of wind coming in off of there, but it's back to just normal cross country on a Saturday tomorrow down at Opossum Bay.
Well, there you go. Good luck. I'm sure you can go for 6 at least tomorrow.
That's the goal, because with the cross country on the Saturdays, they have point scoring, and the top 6 places get like overall points towards like a cumulative thing for the whole season. And I've been 7th 7 times.
Oh, wow!
Just outside the points.
You are the Richmond of the cross country scene in Hobart. Always just outside the top 8. Wow. Well, good luck. I hopefully next week we can find out how you went, and let's push for 6. We'll be serious this time. And hopefully any phone calls that you might have with Donald Trump during the week don't get leaked. So thank you for joining us as always.
Yeah, let's hope that. That's always on the agenda, I think. No leaked calls of Trump. All right, see you next week.
It's a bit of that moment where you get a bit excited because I press this button.
It's that time of the week to play everybody's favorite game show. It's Forget the Lyrics here on the Brink on Edge Radio. Over to the studio.
Oh, forget the lyrics. So excited I just string sentences together that don't actually make any sense at all. A bit of the moment. I don't know what the hell I was saying there. Anyway, 2014 seems to be a year that we're going to a lot this time around, and myself and Dakoda did a duet this time, and it was to the David Bowie hit Changes. Dakoda, obviously a huge David Bowie fan, and the subject matter of this revolves around transportation, and more likely buses. And just listen out to Dakoda and his great logic when it comes to people looking at him, and also the bit of a plot twist about the person that sat next to him on the bus. Oh, there we go. I always say something and then it starts. Stupid thing. Woke up this morning, had to go to work, didn't have a car or a bike. Waited at a bus stop and thought, gee, that bus is late. Then I realized that public transport isn't so great. So I looked at the timetable once again to see that the bus driver was actually early. My watch was really fast and it was my own fault, so I turned and said, oh, poo, bus ride, oh, I'm on a metro bus, it's going down the street, picking up lots of people on it. Bus ride, it takes me to the interchange, and then I have to get off and change buses because the bus driver blew up the bus. That is really hot day. So the bus driver blew up. Alright, this is over to you now, Dakoda.
Let's do this.
Let me change over.
Great.
No pressure!
I put my bag on the seat so no one would sit next to me. This woman got on the bus And she walked up to me. She looked at me with her eyes. And I said, would you like me to move your bag so you can sit here? She said that would be great, as I am pregnant. She sat next to me. I looked at her. She looked at me. She smelled a bit. I looked out the window and put my headphones on. I think we're done.
I guarantee you that if you are listening to us right now on a bus or some form of public transport, you are probably singing that song in your head right now. You're welcome. Time of the show to learn about Canada, because that's what we want to do and that's what we're going to do. It's Colin Hilding. Hello, Colin. Welcome back to the Brink.
Thank you for having me back to talk 2 weeks in a row about the greatest event to ever happen in Canada that you'll never hear about anywhere else in the world, other than on the Brink.
Yes, exactly. The Canada Games!
Yeah!
So tell me, is Canada winning the medal tally?
We are, if you combine everything. And like predicted last week, Manitoba's not really doing much. Actually, one of the funniest things happened is that we're a week in, and I don't know what the full medal tally is, but it's like dozens of medals for Ontario and Quebec. And Manitoba, I think, has like 19 medals or something like that, all like bronzes or whatever. But we had like 2 golds. And the second gold that we won was basically our flag bearer. She's a rower. And they posted it on TSN, which is like the big ESPN. And they're going through all the results. And they're like, Emma Gray won gold in the whatever rowing. From Manitoba, and then they flash on the screen and they put Ontario and the Ontario flag next to her. And I'm like, seriously? We finally get a gold and you still give the credit to Ontario? Not fair.
I'm looking at your medal tally right now. And again, this probably, I guess, would update in the case of when we record this to whenever. Yeah, you've got 2 gold, 8 silver, 8 bronze. Manitoba is sitting in second last place.
No, second last place of those who have won medals, because we have like 5 provinces who won nothing.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. And again, this is judged on gold. Now, I don't know if we have asked this question off the podium. Maybe not. Off the podium now, available via iTunes. Are you one of these people who thinks it should be ranked by gold or by total medals?
Well, I think you should rank both, because it's kind of 2 separate things. If you win all the goals, like I remember back in the Vancouver Olympics, Canada didn't come anywhere near winning the most medals.
You won the most gold.
But we not only won the most gold, we set the record for most golds in a single Winter Games. And okay, well, that should claim credit for Canada. But of course, if you're watching American TV during that time, they're like, well, America won the most medals, so we win. But you flip it around to Rio and you're watching American TV and they're like, we didn't win the most gold, or we won the most gold, so we must win. So I don't know. I guess just bragging rights one way or the other. If Canada's never really number one in either unless it's Vancouver. So Manitoba's not going to be number one, so I don't really care one way or the other.
Well, I was going to say, if you resort it by total medals rather than gold, you're third last. just trying to toot your horn there. I mean, when you win a gold at these games, like, what's the national anthem for Manitoba?
Oh, they don't even play one. This is what's getting annoying, because earlier this week I didn't really have time to go to any of the events, other than one, which is cool, I'll get to in a second. But I started watching the webcasts of these, because you can watch webcasts of every single event. And when they're doing the medal ceremonies, there's this one song they're playing over and over again. It's like a song with lyrics and everything. I'm not even sure, if it's a local artist or something. But it was the same song over and over again, and I thought, well, okay, maybe it's just here. And then I go to the diving event, and I go to the track and field the other night, and it's this same song. It's just the one song they're playing over and again. It sounds like some cheesy 1991 song from Amy Grant or one of these other washed-up singers. It doesn't suit it at all. I'd rather them do like some type of John Williams Olympic theme other than just Amy Grant's album Reject.
I just thought they would be like, oh, Manitoba, our home and something. And it's like, I just always help they do the national anthem. Now, I want to hear...
everybody gets the same song. Yeah. We have to share. That's what
oh, Newfoundland and Labrador. That's how it works. I want to hear your experiences of this, because, I mean, I've never been to a multi-sport event like this. I've always dreamed of going to one. Obviously, you and I love the Olympics, love the Commonwealth Games, and, sadly, as a 13-year-old, didn't get to go to Sydney 2000, and sadly, for 2006, didn't get to go to Melbourne Commonwealth Games, but I will be at the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games, it seems. But just before I get to that, we didn't really talk about the sports. I mean, all the sports look like they're just Olympic sports. And, I mean, all the good sports that Canada are fantastic at. I mean, I'm looking here. So soccer. I mean, okay, you're pretty decent in the female soccer at least. Sailing. Where did they sail in Winnipeg? I didn't see any water there.
No, the sailing. And this is funny because they bill it as Winnipeg Gimli. Gimli is just like an hour north of Winnipeg, where they're doing, I think, some events. And Kenora, which is actually in Ontario. So the sailing isn't even in Manitoba, sadly.
Right, okay, that makes sense. I mean, tennis, you kind of mentioned this, I think, last week, the fact that, you're not getting, Jeannie Bouchard is playing at these games, or, Milos Raonic. Like, these are just up-and-comers, right? So, these are the next big things in Canadian tennis, which, I mean, is a sentence not usually uttered very often, but I guess in the last 5 years, you've had people make the Wimbledon final, so I guess we kind of have to take it a bit more seriously, right?
Yeah, I mean, for some of the sports, it's exciting. I think, particularly last night, we were at the track and field and watching these runners. We didn't know who they were. We actually did know, because they also have a festival that's going on every single night. And when we were there, we met some of these runners and everything. And then we're at the event and we're like, oh, she just won gold. Oh, yeah, this guy who won gold in the hurdles. Here's the picture I'm showing my wife. There's the picture. He's standing right next to us. But, I mean, this is cool because we're meeting like these athletes from Team Ontario, and I remember on Saturday or Sunday night whenever we were there, and I looked at the picture, and afterwards I pointed out to my wife, I'm like, that 4 years ago, if we got a picture with this same team, the track and field male athletes, Andre DeGrasse is in that picture, and now Andre DeGrasse, second only to Usain Bolt, is the fastest man in the world 4 years later. So it's great watching this. And the other interesting thing is that I expected with Canada Games, there's an age limit. It kind of caps at about 22 years old for some sports. If you've been in the Olympics, you can't really go back to the Canada Games. It's really meant as an experience to train these athletes what the Olympics will be like in a few years. But when we're at the diving, I was expecting, this is going to be kind of a step down from what you see in the Olympics, and it really isn't. You're seeing dives that are like perfect 10s. We got one that was like, I think, 9.5 and 10s across the board. And it's just as good as what you see in the Olympics. The only difference is the consistency, So the athletic performance is Olympic level. It's just you're not getting the same results every single heat from these runners or every single dive from these divers.
I'm just loving the names. I'm just looking at some of the medal winners here. Obviously, you've been at the diving. So Elena Nancy Dick, two-time gold medalist. And then in the high jump, we have Autumn Bigger. So I'm guessing if Autumn Bigger and Elena Nancy Dick got together, there's a funny name in there somewhere. See where my mind went there. I mean, like this experience. So, like again, multi-sport. Like you can go and see. I mean, you've seen. I've seen looking at your photos. You've seen the diving, as you said. You've seen the track and field. I mean, is it kind of everybody's excited in Winnipeg, getting their tickets to multiple events, or are people just not giving a shit? I mean, is it a fun thing to be able to say like, oh, let's go see the diving today. Let's go see the softball today, and let's go not see the sailing because it's not near us today.
Yeah. No, I kind of expected, because we had the Pan Am Games here, which I don't know how many people in Australia are familiar with it because you don't compete, but it's the Olympics for North America, Central America, South America, the Caribbean. So you're getting half of the world, or at least a third of the world, competing. And the Pan Am Games were here in Winnipeg in '99, and I remember it being a huge deal then, and I kind of thought, well, Canada Games, we might get like, the family in the stands and stuff. But everything we've been to, for the most part, has been, pretty decent-sized crowds. I think a lot of it are people from out of town. We're probably getting more people from out of town because the ones I've been to, they'll notice that Nova Scotia especially is getting just as many cheers in the crowd as Manitoba, and I'm seeing a lot of like Nova Scotia flags and everything. So it's a lot of tourism more than anything. I don't know if locally everybody here is like, I have to see something. People are kind of talking about it, but not like I have to see it. But there's like huge turnouts, bigger turnouts for these events than I thought there would be.
Is there an opening ceremony that's kind of like what? You know, generally we know the Olympics is kind of, you know, I mean, we should mention like it's like a year to the day basically that we're recording this that Rio opened. So it's kind of like, that's a celebration of Brazil. Like, let's show the history of Brazil and how great Brazil is. So like, is that kind of like, here's Winnipeg, like, look at our great museum of fucking human rights and shit. And, you know, here's a Jet because we have a team called the Jets. Yay, like Winnipeg.
Yeah, no, I watched the opening ceremonies, and I've never watched opening or closing ceremonies for these games before, but I guess it really didn't have much culture or anything like that. More or less, it's shorter for one. It's less than 2 hours. You get the athletes coming out right away as soon as it starts. And then you get like, you know, speeches from some of the officials. You get the prime minister, the mayor of Winnipeg. And then I think there was maybe 10 minutes, of like any type of cultural presentation. You had one band playing a song, and then it was basically that's it. You know, I'm wondering if the closing ceremonies might have more than that, because we had it in our indoor arena here is where the opening ceremonies are, and then we're moving it to the big football stadium here for the closing ceremony. So maybe that's where they're going to bring out a lot of the Winnipeg showcase.
And then how many people does it fit? Like, what's the stadium? And do they sell out like the opening and closing ceremonies like they do at the Olympics?
I don't think it's completely sold out, but with the opening ceremonies, I think it was bad camera placement for one, because where all the fans were sitting is where the camera is, you know, your hard camera, and you're basically looking at empty stands for the first 45 minutes, and it's only afterwards you realize, no, they're filming the athlete's seat, so it looks like an empty arena, but it sounds like there's a lot of people there. So I don't know, when it gets to the football one, I'm thinking there's probably at least 20,000 that can fit in that one, you know, maybe about 12 to 15 in the arena for the opening ceremonies. For the events, you know, most of these, it'll probably fit like 500 to 1,000 people. Last night at the track and field, I estimate maybe about 300 people there for, you know, just the evening stuff. The one that really surprised me was the free event I attended. You know, where I work, right behind it, there's this big like forest and hill and everything. And I only found out a few days before that the cross-country cycling was going to be taking place there. And I'm like, well, that's free because it's just the backyard of my work. So I spent 10 minutes hiking up of a hill, only to have them say, oh, okay, they're just finishing the race now, but if you go to the top of the hill, you can watch it. And I got to the top of the hill, and there was probably about, 20 or 30 people standing up there who hiked up there and didn't pay, waiting for the last place rider of the last place team on the relay to finish the last lap. So
and was that Manitoba?
That event. It was Saskatchewan, thankfully.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
Saskatchewan was last place on that, but no, it was still a cool experience to go up there. You know, when I watched the next day, I wasn't able to make it up on my lunch in time. It was over by then, but you're still seeing like probably 50 people hiking up to the top of a hill just to watch it.
Well, it's fascinating actually to think that, and I mean, it's kind of interesting with the stadiums and that sort of stuff, because I mean, obviously you think the Olympics sell out and they have the big stadiums with the capacity. I remember like for Sydney, obviously like with Stadium Australia, it was like 110,000 people. Then now it's only fits like 80,000. They remove the seats because it's like, well, you're not going to get that many people. But like it's interesting, like looking just kind of slightly off topic. Like, you look at like the Commonwealth Games, a smaller version of the Olympics. The fact that when Australia last had that in 2006, obviously Melbourne, and had it at the MCG, which is like the Colosseum of Australian sport. It holds 100,000 people. Hosted the 1956 Olympics opening and closing ceremonies, our AFL Grand Final venue, and I think they sold that out for both opening and closing ceremonies, 100,000 people for just the Commonwealth Games. Yet the stadium they use next year in the Gold Coast is called Metricon Stadium, which it's kind of a small, I guess you call it a boutique stadium. It has like one AFL team plays there, only holds about 25,000 people, but they're redeveloping it to add an extra 15,000 seats. And to me, like 40,000 seats at an opening and closing ceremony in athletics for something like the Commonwealth Games is too small. But I mean, I don't know. Commonwealth Games are lessening a little bit, and it's kind of not as big a deal as the Olympics, but it's going to be interesting. And it's kind of interesting to see, like, every time I see one of your photos, like, at these events, I'm like, there's no one there. But I guess, again, these are the Canada Games and not, the Olympics.
And it's placement too. We have a baby, so we're going like for the track and field. I point out to you, and it actually ended up being a great position, but because we had a stroller with us, we didn't want to be holding him the whole time because he does not sit still. They basically told us, well, you can go to the handicap section, which was basically like a patio right on the side of the track. So we're in the section where it's just like right on the end where nobody would want to sit there. But the fun thing is that even though the stands are probably about 2/3 filled, there are people who are sitting on the hills surrounding the track just watching. They paid for the event, but they're like, I'm going to go sit on the hill up there and watch it from there. So everywhere you're looking around the track, there's like scattered people sitting on hills and cheering from there.
One thing I just quickly add too is, I've found a photo here of the great Elena Nancy Dick, two-time gold medalist at these games, and there's a photo of here I've seen. She's got the medal around her neck, like it's a nice-looking medal, and she's got the Ontario flag. So like that's a thing. Like each of the provinces, you've got your flags ready to fly.
Oh yeah. The most frustrating thing is try Googling Ontario flag and Winnipeg flag, and then you tell me if you can spot the difference. And that's the most frustrating thing because I keep seeing these medal ceremonies, or even when I'm watching, the TV or looking online, and I'm seeing just the flag next to the name, and they look identical. So I keep thinking, yeah, Manitoba got it. No, it's Ontario again.
So Ontario's got like a shield with the English Red Cross and what are they, like green with gold leaves underneath it, and the Manitoba one's a similar flag, but instead of the green and gold leaves, it's got what looks like a bison.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with Australian flags. Like, if we had the Australia Games, all of our flags are basically the same state flags, except for the territories. The territories look vastly different. But yeah, so like the Tasmanian flag is just the Australian flag without the stars, and we've got a red lion on it because, of course, lions roam free in Tasmania. And then, like, Western Australia is like a black swan. So like all of them, like I get confused our states' flags. Like I can see a flag of New South Wales and Victoria and go, yeah, one of them's New South Wales, one of them's Victoria, but I just get them around the wrong way because no one gives a shit. So I
think it's also unfair here. We're the host city, host province. I think we should have gotten priority, but because Manitoba and Ontario's flags are so similar, the colors are identical. You would expect that we would have red as far as our like uniform colors and everything like that. Ontario claimed the red. We're wearing green. There isn't any green on our flag, so. We're the host province.
There's a bit of green.
Like, nah, you can wear green.
Behind the
and
bison?
Green is Saskatchewan. Green is Saskatchewan's color. Like, can you imagine the shame of us wearing Saskatchewan's colors?
So is that your like provinces? Like you each like here, each state has a color. Like Tasmania's color's green. So I'm guessing Manitoba's is red, similar to Ontario.
Yeah, okay. And the reason I think they went with green is because that's the color of like the university football team, the Manitoba Bisons, which is so. Not even our professional team, but like our university development team is green. So they're trying to explain it that way, as saying, well, we're just honoring that team.
It's like if you look at the national colours of Australia, we're green and gold, and there's no green or gold on our flag. So go figure. Well, I guess New Zealand, they're the All Blacks. They're black. They don't have black. Anyway, that's another topic of conversation. Colin, when do these end? Like, can we talk about these next week, or will they be over by next week?
No, I mean, I've still there's a festival going on every day, and every day they have, celebrities, I guess, hosting it.
Hang on. Celebrities as in, like, actual Canadian celebrities, or is this, like, QVC host on Winnipeg radio that's a celebrity in Winnipeg?
Some of them. That's the other disappointment is that, we have, like, some who are, actors on TV that are coming. Tomorrow night, Saskatchewan night, they got Katrina LeMay-Doan, who's one of our most famous Olympians of all time. Manitoba night is on Monday, where we get Ace Burpee, who is a radio host.
Ace Burpee?
Yeah, he's a radio host here, and he basically makes like public appearances everywhere. So like, there isn't anybody in the city who probably hasn't met this guy or ran into him, at the supermarket or something like that. And he's our celebrity. But at least we get the Crash Test Dummies, one of Winnipeg's most famous bands, performing with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra reuniting. So that'll be fun. And then we get the soccer still.
Okay, well that's all right. I'm just hilarious the fact that I've just looked up this Ace Burpee at Ace Burpee Show on Twitter, where he's got a picture of a beaver eating a tree, and apparently Barack Obama follows him. So there you go. So cool. I have no idea. That's not the stupidest name ever. Anyway, go to the Canada Games. I look forward to Canada still winning the Canada Games, and we'll talk about the Canada Games more next week on the Canada Games segment on The Brink. Thank you, Colin, for your time.
Thank you, and go crash test dummies. Win that gold.
Time to close it all out for another episode here at The Brink. Of course, we'll be back next week, episode 38 coming your way. And look, possibly open up to exploring some multiple episodes a week. Again, we've mentioned that before, but look, just watch this space. It might happen because definitely want to bring you some more content. We're having a lot of fun doing this for you. And sadly, no longer doing the High Noon show on Edge Radio due to a variety of different circumstances. Let's just say it's for the best. And look, we might end up playing some High Noon content on here across the way because, you know, we had some good moments on there. And whether or not we're allowed to, we don't give a fuck. We're going to play it anyway, because those who are complaining about it can go fuck themselves. But we are essentially right now going to close things out with a couple of things for you, and that, first of all, involves the new trailer, The Brink Unleashed 7, which, of course, we released yesterday via our YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's an epic trailer. And as we often like to do, we like to play the audio of that said trailer. There's a little bit more dialogue in this one, so it might make a little bit more sense. So let's hear that. This is the trailer for The Brink Unleashed 7, which is out in approximately 7 days. Let's hear this.
I'm looking forward to this, Gillian. This is going to be fun. I'll just wear this t-shirt and point to the flag. Be like, look, Australian. 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 It's not my fault, I'm Australian. It's what happens when you don't watch my films, alright? You don't know what's going on, so you don't know what this is.
I will do better next time.
I wonder why people think I'm gay sometimes.
Let's get ourselves into trouble.
There you go. I just ticked that off the bucket list. I thank Christina Aguilera. On top of Mountain Alaska.
You have lots to offer.
Beautiful, no matter what they say. We just ran over a Canadian. I think it needs to be a little bit louder. Rex isn't happy enough for that. Let's get louder, Hobart. Come on.
The singer.
Google that, kids.
Bring on Canada. Alaska home.
Just everybody's watching. It wasn't all bad though, right? This is it.
This has been an insane 2 days.
You know the auntie. You've been to Australia.
I'm only 22.
Auntie. How old are you now? Like 23?
Let's read it.
Once upon a time in the wild, there was a bear, and it ate someone. They died. The end. Alaska.
Yes, that's right. 7 whole days until you can get all of that goodness on your screen and you can watch the brand new Brink Unleashed 7 film. Probably the best one we've done yet. And yes, it is me tooting my own horn, but hey, I'm going to agree with myself because I think it turned out pretty darn well. And we also have been closing these episodes out recently with a bit of a mixture in terms of some content that we used to do. Every single year we would produce an In the Mix section where basically we got some best bits of the show that year, put it to music, and had some fun with it. So this is 2010 In the Mix. We're up to 2010 now. Some of the best bits from 2010 to music to close this out. Episode 37 of The Brink, done and dusted. Thank you for your company. It's always a pleasure. We'll be back for you in 7 whole days to bring you more Brinkalicious content. Until then, keep sucking those oranges, Hobart, and good night.
It wasn't a, you must not go in there, I'll kill you. It was a, hello sir, welcome to India, bang. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. I didn't need my leg, but it's cool. I'll walk it off. And I did. So they use like a special type of bullet.
Yeah.
You know, it's got like Vindaloo curry in it. It's like, well, have a good day.
Is it good to have a bit of a rest from those serious guys behind us?
Bloody oath. But when you look across the board, there is not one candidate that's going to win there that wouldn't be talking about the Olympics here for Hobart. There's not one of them. You look at all the big numbers, they're all supporters of it, mate, so it's just a matter of time. You know that.
There are only two professions in North Korea, are they not? So beggars and military personnel.
Pretty much. Pretty much. And just to all North Koreans listening, we do love you.
Yeah. Nothing against North Korea.
Nothing at all.
Just against your leader.
Yeah. Who have you beaten this year, Matt?
Carlton.
Besides Carlton, the only decent side you've beaten.
Sydney.
Oh, Sydney doing well, aren't they? Sydney doing brilliant. Richmond, only just beat them, 2 points, doing well there.
We're only one game behind you, though, mate.
One game? Try like 3.
No.
How many games have you won?
4.
Yeah, we've won 6.
Okay, well, maybe 2 games.
So when you come back down here, obviously maybe not that reception, but is that where you get recognised the most?
Yeah, a lot of people down home, yeah, especially when you go to Eastlands or...
And so's Christopher Reeve. What are you on?
He's in a wheelchair.
He was in a wheelchair.
He can't play Twister.
That's harsh. That's really harsh. See why we're getting rid of him, man?
Where are you going and what are you doing?
Going to hell. You're more knowledgeable about Japan than I am, Anthony.
Exactly, Japan is tiny.
Yes, and another comment. Well, some of these comments we can't actually read out because they contain bad, naughty words, which is nice for some, but
pretty much. That's
exactly,
what it seems like.
exactly. So I mean, maybe the other guys are just getting promoted to the mains, but you don't hear from them
ever again.
We're already in the mains.
We're found in the mains.
We don't need to warm
back
a bench.
in 1976.
If it turns into too serious a sport for me, then I won't be able to have that beer, and then it'll be too boring for me.
Oh, well, that's what most professional sports need, Luke. They need the fact that you can have a beer on the side. So maybe
Exactly.
you should
I
speak
think
to
it is one of the only sports you can drink beer, though. That's one of the things too. Yeah.
We are the Navy, please. We're the team that always lets you down. We are the only team that old Carlton knows. Look, over his past training week, he's been doing really well, so there's no reason why he can't get perfect form.
Oh, this is fancy. He's on his hands as he goes into a flip, double back, quadruple flick into the thing, and back. Oh, that was
perfect landing into the water.
Thumbs up.
Clean,
He likes that.
clean.
10.0, 10.0. That
Wonderful.
puts him to
Now-
first.
Oh, come on, look, put it right now. We've got listeners of Hobart around the world. Nikki Webster wants a husband. How's that?
A boyfriend first.
All right, come on, we'll get people to send in emails. It can be like, the Brink dating agency. Our first attraction was Nikki Webster.
Libra's yeah.
Doesn't matter. Capricorn's a guy.
Libra's are scales.
Ah, right,
Yeah.
What is Julia responsible for in Parliament?
Not much. All of the above, I think. Oh, Frederick and I had a bit of an argument. He wants to name the baby Inga and Bjorn after ABBA, but I don't like the ABBA. I don't like Scandinavian music. Whale, hello, Southern Right Whale that was in the water yesterday. How are you finding Hobart? Wow. Anthony, do you speak whale?
No, I don't. So I don't know how we're going to. We're just going to have to speak to
Maybe we need Charlotte Church who speaks Welsh. Wales. Get it.
No, like, you're going to get shot, fair enough. Everybody knows the drill. You get shot, you drop, you die. But the red band and the beat thing, they require a lot of time.
If you don't hassle, they don't know you exist. And if they don't know you exist, they don't want to come on. Now, we're good friends with Julia. All right? She just doesn't know it yet. And she's coming on. We'll have her on today. But we'll have her in another capacity, hopefully closer to the day.
And maybe we can have her and maybe you as Julia Gillard can speak to her as Julia Gillard.
Oh, look, it works with you and David Bartlett.
Yeah, it does.
The difference is you actually sound like David Bartlett. I just put on a bit of a bogan accent. They've been hopeless. They have been hopeless, have they not? They only just won that game yesterday, and they haven't done much.
Yeah. Sorry, Julie. No, I'm just being rude. I don't mean to be rude.
Yes, you do. You do.
I just feel so at ease, Carmel. I'm sorry.
Like everywhere you go here in South Africa, they follow you. It's the Vuvuzelas.
Most places, when you turn up to your hotel room, they'll leave a couple of chocolates on your bed. You get these horns on your bed when you turn up.
And the followers here in Johannesburg,
14
everywhere you go.
thank you for that. Till next week, Hobart. Do keep sucking those oranges. Yeah, whatever, next week. Keep sucking those oranges, Hobart. Keep sucking those oranges, Hobart. Do keep sucking those oranges. Please do keep sucking those oranges. Do keep sucking those oranges.